Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Guys, good morning.
Good morning, Jenny. How you doing, Jenny? You had a great weekend, Jenny?
What a great weekend I had. My Oklahoma Sooners pulled off an epic comeback to beat those hated Texas Longhorns. And your Alabama rolled all the way into Texas A&M and gave up 41 points and lost. And Tom Brady at age 44 throws 5 more touchdown passes. And of course, how about them Cowboys?
There it is.
You got a lot to celebrate today. You got a lot to celebrate today.
Great weekend. It's going to be a great day, and God bless you.
Oh, I want me a case, though.
Yeah.
The little Chargers came through for me against your Browns.
Yeah, and my Browns got robbed. And I can't wait to just go crazy about that.
They didn't get no rob.
Yes, they did.
It's hard to even think of everything you just listed, Skip. We have so much to get to on this show, a packed Undisputed, but we will begin, guys, by addressing what is happening with the Raiders and with head coach Jon Gruden. Here's the latest. The Raiders fell to the Bears 20-9 yesterday, but really all eyes were on Jon Gruden after a 10-year-old email resurfaced over the weekend that included a perceived racial comment. So Gruden addressed the issue with his team before the game and discussed it again with the media afterwards. Take a listen for yourself.
I'm not going to answer all these questions today. I think I've addressed it already. I can't remember a lot of the things that transpired 10 or 12 years ago, but I stand here in front of everybody apologizing. I know I don't have an ounce of racism in me. I'm a guy that takes pride in leading people together, and I'll continue to do that for the rest of my life.
Shannon, what is your view on this?
Well, it's really disappointing. I'm very, very disappointed in Jon Gruden. I'm first on record. He was my brother's position coach when my brother was in Green Bay. My brother swears by him. I am not the biggest fan, so let me go ahead and get that out the way. I am not the biggest fan of Jon Gruden.
You have made that clear.
Abundantly clear. Hopefully crystal clear.
Yep.
Skip, and what have I told you several times? Jon Gruden said that he was angry when he sent this email. And I've told you there are people that will tell you the truth, are angry drunks and kids.
Yep.
He was angry. And what's so disappointing, Skip, is that when he was angry, this is what he went to. That's the go-to move. I'm not racist, but what's your go-to move when you get upset with a person of a different race or a person of a different gender? What will you go to? What's your go-to move? This.
Yep.
So the question I have for Jon Gruden, if you're not what you say you are, would you have said these words to D. Smith to his face? You see, you spoke your heart because you had no idea these emails would ever make the light of day. And once they did, now you're saying you're sorry. And I take Josh Jacobs. He said it was 10 years ago. People grow. Gruden hadn't had any regret. He wasn't going to say, I'm sorry. You think Jon Gruden said, you know what, guys, there's some things that I did. It was 10 years ago. And I'm not proud of this. I sent an email. I said some things that I shouldn't have said. I said something that's going to be viewed as derogatory and even racist. Yep. And I want to apologize for that. Jon Gruden thought he had skated. He ain't grown. Grown how?
Yep.
Because he had no apology in the 10 years up until this moment.
Yep.
Skip, I think his punishment should be having to go stand before those black men in that locker room for however long he owns this job and have them look at him and because they got in the back of their mind, damn, oh, okay. So if I make a mistake, we lose a game, you go home and you vent. This is what you think of me, huh?
So not one of those players said that publicly after they did have a team meeting in which he apologized, according to Jon, to them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Skip, and for me, I don't believe the NFL should do anything because this is a very, very, very slippery slope you'll be heading down. I don't want Fox to punish me for something that I may or may not have done while I was at CBS. That wouldn't be fair. He wasn't an employee of the NFL. Although, Skip, he was working for ESPN, and we understand the broadcasts are in business. It's a marriage with the NFL.
Yeah, he was the lead analyst.
He was the lead of ESPN with Tirico. But for me, Skip, look, I don't want to beat Jon Gruden up too bad. The man said he apologized, and take him at his word. But Skip, why is it that when you get upset with a person of a different race, you always go to racist rhetoric. If that's not who you are, how do you, Skip, I don't even think of, if somebody cut me off, that's not the first thing that comes to my mind. Oh, you this, that. That's the first thing that gets you. So in other words, and you think about it, Skip, you had to type this out, you had to write this out, you looked at it, and then you hit send. You hit that because you didn't think these weren't going to make the light of day. Now, he said there's some other things that I said in there also. So he's trying to go ahead and get in front of these, Skip, because eventually you know what he said about certain owners, whoever the owners are. That's going to come out eventually. But this is not a good look for Jon Gruden, especially, Skip, when you're in the business of leading, because a lot of what Jon Gruden's success has been built on the backs of black men. I want Jon Gruden to know that. Those lips and the thing Michelin tires, the reference that you made, those are a lot of guys that you got that $100 million contract was because of those guys.
That's true.
So for me, Skip, the man said for me, I don't want to harp on it too much. He said he was sorry, but man, this is a bad look for Jon Gruden. It's a very, very bad look, and I feel very comfortable with the way I've been feeling about him. Okay, he's done nothing to change my mind.
Okay. Unlike you, I do like Jon Gruden in the times I've interacted with Jon Gruden. I've told you before, I got to know him in my days at ESPN, and he's fun to be around because he tells great stories and he's great to talk ball with. He can really, really talk ball.
Right.
And I don't know if you've been around him at all. I guess not.
Not really.
If you were in his presence, you would enjoy it for those minutes you were in his presence. Now to this. I was beyond disturbed by this. I was shocked by this. And Jon is disqualified because of this. Because there are certain mistakes you make.
Right.
I don't drink that much, but I had a second drink and I got behind the wheel and I got stopped.
Right.
Okay, that's a mistake to me. This is the kind of mistake you can't take back. Once you reveal yourself, you're revealed. For Jon to say, I don't have an ounce of racism or I don't have a racist bone in my body is a lie. This indicates at least 1 ounce, if not several.
Exactly.
And at least one racist bone, if not several racist bones.
Correct.
It shows you that under the circumstances and anger, to whom did he write this email? To Bruce Allen, who had been his confidant and his best friend for his years in Oakland under Al Davis. They commiserated because they were sort of joined at the hip against Al, who was the czar and the overseer and sometimes the tyrant. And Jon clashed often with Al Davis, who I believe does not have, or did not, the late, great Al Davis, who I got to know very well in Oakland.
Correct.
Al was very progressive in his thinking.
Very.
And I don't think he did have a racist ounce or bone in his body. But Jon sat down at his keyboard, as you said, and he wrote this in strict confidence to his buddy, Bruce Allen, as you recall, the son of the late George Allen, the former coach of the Washington football team. And this should lead to the suspicions in the black community and among black athletes about what do those white people do behind closed doors? What do they say?
Well, hell, we already know.
Okay.
A lot of times they'll say it to our face.
Okay, but this is classic.
Yes.
I thought it was just to Bruce. I didn't know there was going to be some big investigation.
It's between us.
It was going to out me 10 years after. And once you're outed, you're outed.
Yeah.
This toothpaste does not go back in this tube. I'm sorry.
You'll never be looked at the same, Skip.
You will never be looked at the same. And I know that's harsh. And I'm not trying to contribute to what is now called cancel culture.
No.
This is just one of those things where you just can't take this one back.
Right.
You can't apologize out of it. You could own it, which he did not do.
Right.
And I want to refer a couple of times here to a column in USA Today by our friend Jared Bell, who is the longtime veteran, great African-American columnist for the sports section of USA Today. And he is all but laughing at Jon's explanation to ESPN that he was actually referring to D. Smith's like rubber lips, as in he was a liar. That's the expression, says Jon, that I use for people who are liars. He has lips. What was it? I can't even say it. I can't even say it. But okay. But he's trying to say that's my expression for people I believe are untruthful. No, that's untruthful.
Thank you.
I'm not going to let you have that one.
Thank you. Skippy, you remember all the caricatures? And the caricatures, when they had the animation on television, what did they have? Huge lips.
Huge lips.
Huge. Come on. See, Skip, an apology. I come before you today. I was wrong. I want to apologize for the insensitive remarks that I made. I know I offended some people. I was upset. I said some things out of anger, and I want to apologize. Although some might not take my apology at face value, I will spend the adequate amount of time to make sure I assure the African-American community and the men that have played for me and that will continue to play for me that this is not a true reflection of who I am. You don't try to explain it away by saying, these are the terms that I use. You can't use an insensitive remark and then turn around and say, this is what I use, because it's telling me, Skip, that you've used it before, because if that's what you use to describe people that lie. Oh, you to use that, is it all people that lie or just people of a certain race that lie?
Okay. Then in his explanation to ESPN, Gruden also said that in the same barrage of emails, and this is interesting, that he couldn't remember the one to D. Smith, but he did remember one in which he used a very harsh term to describe Roger Goodell because it was in a lockout situation. Jon was very upset, according to Jon, with that lockout situation because it was, as he said, depriving a lot of great coaches and players of their ability to perform because of the lockout. So he said that he used the very disparaging term to describe Goodell as if that should discount the use of the shot that he took at D. Smith. Well, that's what you call false equivalency because you can't compare the two. It's offensive to me to the point of almost comical that you would try to undercut one by saying, well, I took this shot at him. I took that shot at the commissioner. Oh, so that makes that one okay? Really? I don't think so.
And Gruden understands, Skip, that Roger Goodell works at the behest of the owners. The owners locked the players out. It wasn't the players like, we don't want to play. They locked them out. They put chains on the door and says, you can't come in here. So that's where his anger should be, not at D. Smith.
Okay, so to be fair, I have yet to hear one player in that locker room say he had a problem with what Coach Gruden said. Well, I also know, because I covered Jon's team in Oakland, he is quite intimidating. That's part of his style. And I don't believe anyone at this point would have the guts to speak up. I hope I'm wrong about that.
You're probably right.
Well, it's just they're fearing for their jobs or any retribution that could come their way inside the organization.
My thing is, if you thought that was okay, that was something Jon Gruden ever would have said to Warren Sapp or Derek Brooks?
Well, obviously not.
Well, so clearly, he absolutely. My thing is, Skip, is that the way I talk to people in public is the way I talk behind their back. Because that's just the way it is, Skip. I got courtesy for people, and I don't want people to be disparaging of me and my race. So therefore, I'm not going to be disparaging of them and theirs or their religion or whatever the case may be. Jon, you're wrong on this one. Instead of just owning up to it, don't try to say, well, this is what I call people, because no matter what, there's not a situation in which you can use an insensitive remark to justify the remark that you use. No way, no how.
Okay. Now, back to fairness here. The great Tim Brown, who I got to know well. I covered him in Oakland. He played for Gruden in Oakland, obviously. He went to the nth degree to defend Jon, saying, never, ever have I gotten anything from him that made me even pause to think out, that didn't come off right. Then last night on NBC, Mike Tirico, who I worked with for many years at ESPN, said that he worked for 7 years with Jon Gruden covering Monday Night Football, as that they were a tandem, obviously, and traveled 3 days a week with Jon. And he also indicated never, ever did he see any hint of that kind of mindset or any sort of racist indication from Gruden at all. The great Tony Dungy said last night, look, I'm paraphrasing how I said it, but he just basically said, and he's a good man.
Yeah, Tony's very forgiving.
He's very forgiving.
He's a great man, but he's very forgiving.
What
yes,
he believes about
it absolutely
life.
is.
And he said, look, it happened 10 years ago. He apologized. Let's move forward.
Right.
That was his stance.
But it was a blowjob apology, Skip.
Okay, I got it. And yet, I give Gruden some positive here that nobody has leaped to condemn him yet. Maybe it will come out. I can only go on exactly what that email said, and it's indefensible to me. And I'm a little surprised, even though, and by the way, Mike Tirico said it's wrong what he wrote, but I never saw any hint or indication of this. Okay, so it wasn't that they were trying to defend what he wrote in the email last night on NBC, is that you can't. Well, we can't. But we're going one more step to, you can't repair this. And I actually liked what you said about you can't punish him. Gruden was asked last night, well, do you expect to hear from the NFL? And he just said, well, I don't know. Like, let's wait and see what happens. I think he came across that he's expecting to be punished. I think he already got punished. The
punishment going to have to stand before those black men every single day for as long as he's a head coach and have them. I don't care. Skip, once someone has said something like this, you look at them with a side eye. You look at them differently because you know he's capable of saying such things now. Whereas before, as Tim Brown said, he never gave me any indication. Mike Tirico said he never gave me any indication. But now that he's giving you indication, do you still feel that same way? After reading that email, knowing that he wrote that in privacy, thinking that it was never going to see the light of day, do you still feel as confident as you did 36 hours, 48 hours before you read this email? Do you still feel confident that this is not who Jon Gruden is?
Bingo. Great question. No, you can't. You can't feel as confident. Let me say that I do know a lot of white people who are incapable of writing that email. It's just not in their psyche. It'd be appalling to them to even think in those terms, because I think anybody knows that's just flat out racist.
Thank you.
Come on. What are we talking about?
He couldn't find another way to make his point. I'm so upset at D. Smith. D. Smith is leading these guys down a road that they shouldn't be headed on. They should be come to the table. Let's get this thing done. Let's get football. He wanted to make a point so strong that he went to this to make the point. Skip, sometimes when you use curse words, you want to put emphasis. You want to know, I want to put emphasis to let you know just how upset I am at you.
Okay.
He wanted D. Smith to know just how upset he was at him, so he put some emphasis on it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to give Gruden a pass for the dumb Maurice or however he tried to nickname him. Because I've been around D. Smith, and you can say a lot of things about him, but
he ain't dumb.
No, he's not dumb.
No.
And then you followed up with the racist shot. And it's a doubly racist email to me. He's dumb and he's got the big lips. That's how it comes across.
The dumb is the prototypical stereotype that they've been using for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And he drives it home, and to me, drives the last nail in the, so to speak, coffin with the lips, I can't even say it. It's just, it's so over the edge that you can't get it back. And from here on, however long Jon coaches, and obviously they got off to a nice start, and then, by the way, I want to drive this point home. You cannot tell me that this incident did not impact that team yesterday, that they showed you their misgivings about their coach, because they came out about as flat as they were just flat all day. They should have beaten the Chicago Bears.
They should have.
Who weren't very good themselves. But the Bears were a little less worse than the Las Vegas Raiders,
Correct.
And Derek Carr played his worst game of the year and fell out of the MVP talk to me. And he had a shot at the end on a fourth down play and just completely overthrew. Okay, so you can't tell me that this didn't just knocked the psyche sideways of all the, especially the black players. Like, really? Because the team's around 75% black, obviously, as you know, because the whole league is.
Right.
And you can't tell me they didn't go out there with not sure, like should I really
play hard for him and knowing he thinks like that of us?
Right. Okay. So in the end, I know life goes on, and I know his ex-players and the people who know him from his broadcast days will stand behind him.
Right.
But to your point, and I love your bottom line is, you can't tell us that those people won't be thinking twice about him now.
Yeah, apology, Skip, is offered without explanation. You don't try to explain why you did it. I was wrong for doing it. I was upset. I was wrong. I apologize. Don't try to explain it away. Say, well, this is the terminology that I use when I'm saying someone is lying. You don't offer an explanation in that context. I was wrong, guys. I apologize. I said something in a moment of anger that I can't get back, but what I can do is to try to show you that this is not a true reflection of who I am. Move on. But when you start trying to explain I can't remember, but I remember this. Skip, I bet you Jon Gruden can remember every play he called in that Super Bowl win. And that was almost 20 years ago. But but he did remember, I said some other things also, Skip. Trying to get out in front of those. Well, you should have got out in front of this. But you didn't think it was going to come to light.
Nope.
Not sure Gruden is done answering questions about this either.
No.
It's just the beginning in so many ways, and I just worry about the locker room and how these players will view him moving forward.
No mercy.
The Cowboys' 44-20 victory over the Giants was spearheaded by a balanced offensive attack. Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdowns, including 1 apiece to Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Ezekiel Elliott rushed for 110 yards and found the end zone twice, and Dallas has won 4 in a row since their season-opening loss. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressive were the Cowboys in your eyes?
Well, I gave that last play that we just saw a 10 because that was a great design. You fake pitch it to him, and the guy was coming on the blitz. He goes to take him, then all of a sudden you pull it back down. He comes, you throw it to Zeke.
That was
Zeke.
sweet.
That was nice.
I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, I get Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore tried to become a head coach real soon. Skip, look, I'm going to give you a 3 quarters. I'm going to give you a 3-4. Somewhere in that range.
3 or 4?
Yeah, somewhere in that range. You do realize you were tied 10-10.
Yep.
And for some inexplicable reason, Daniel Jones thought all of a sudden he was Derrick Henry. And he said, you know what? I'm going to plow my way into the end zone. He goes helmet to helmet, and he's staggering around the ring like Wilder was on Saturday night.
First play made by Jabril Cox, their 4th-round pick.
Yes.
Right? And again, the helmet-to-helmet was initiated by Daniel
Jones, yes.
Okay.
So that was a 10-10. And then the Giants, you lose your quarterback. You lose Saquon, just can't catch a break.
Can't catch a break.
He can't catch a break.
Yep.
And then all your receivers go down. You lose your offensive line.
Galladay lost.
Galladay, Sharpe was gone.
And Slayton was gone. Okay, got it.
So you beat, first of all, you beat a bad team to begin with. And then you just poured it on.
Yep.
So I can't now, had you had this type of performance against the Chargers, you get an A+.
Okay.
If you had this type of performance against the Buccaneers, you get an A+. But when you're beating teams in your bad division and you're pouring it on, I'm going to give you kudos for winning, but I can't go to an 8 because you're beating teams, Skip. I mean, really, you and I both know. I don't know how the Giants won that game in New Orleans.
They did. They were down 11 in the 4th, and they came back and beat them. I cannot figure out New Orleans.
No,
1 week they're way up, 1 week they're way down.
Really down.
Yeah.
So for me, Skip, I'm going to give y'all a 3 or 4. Like I said, had you done this against the Chargers, had you done this against the Bucks, who I believe the Chargers, we're going to talk about them, Skip, I believe they have the makers of something really, really special. We know what the Buccaneers are. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. Had you had this type of performance, okay. And plus, your guy turned the ball over twice.
He did.
So for me, Skip, you guys are running the football. You guys are playing really well. You're in a bad division, and the schedule is lined up very favorable for you. You're looking good in your prognostication. You said you're going to be 12-5. You probably want to readjust that. You're probably thinking 14-3 right about now. I know you. You said that whole earnestly. I said 12-5, but I'm looking at this schedule. You go to the schedule with a 5-2 comb.
Yep, licking my lips.
But I'm not giving you a 7-8 for beating a team that only has 1 win.
All right, Shannon Sharpe is actually leaning toward a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a 4. I'll round it up.
Because Shannon Sharpe is starting to come around on my Dallas Cowboys because he's starting to see what Troy Aikman has been seeing for a couple of weeks, and that is special. Special. Okay, what did I see yesterday? Why am I about to give my team a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay.
It's because of your last point. What happened at the start of the game? Well, Dak Prescott said after the game that I came out in what he described as a slow mental fog. Why was that, Mr. Sharpe? It was because 364 days before, on that same field against that same team, featuring Logan Ryan at safety as they had yesterday, the worst happened to Dak Prescott, and he had to go revisit the scene of the, let's call it accident. Not crime, because I don't blame Logan Ryan. It was the weirdest play. It was like a front-side horse collar where he grabbed him front side and yanked him down. And Dak's ankle compound fractured, and his career was in jeopardy. And I don't doubt that as he lay in the hospital over the next couple of days that he had thoughts of, what if this is it? What if I never get out there? So he had to go back and revisit all those emotions. And he had to also watch Saquon get carted off on that same, I don't know if it was exactly the same cart, might have been, that took him off the field, And he said it was hard to watch. And Daniel Jones got carted off, and he said it was harder to watch because it was the quarterback. So he came out in a slow mental fog, and I agree. I'm like, Dak, are you all there? Well, he wasn't right, because he was roller coastering his emotions. So if we could see what happened on 3 early bad plays for Dallas, one not Dak's fault, but he gets the tipped interception right away on 4th down. And, okay, that happens, but he just wasn't quite right. And then he made an okay throw to Dalton Schultz in the end zone that should have been caught. Shannon Sharpe catches this in his teeth, I believe. And Dalton, you got to hang on. I know he's about to get busted, and he did, but you just got to hang on. And then here's the fumbled exchange. His mind just wasn't there. He wasn't sharp mentally, and you got to catch the snap. It was a little low, but it wasn't that low. And he fumbled it, and Reggie Ragland recovered. Well, here's my point. Here's why I'm giving my team a 7. Last year or the year before, my team loses that football game because they start to unravel psychologically, and it's like, here we go again, and it's a division rival. All of a sudden, the Giants say, it's the same old Cowboys. We got them on the run. Here we go. And maybe good things start happening. Maybe Daniel Jones doesn't get hurt. Maybe Saquon doesn't get hurt. Maybe the injury gods shine on the New York Giants. But in this case, Dak bounced back. As Mike McCarthy said after the game, he did not flinch. So now could we see the big plays from Dak Prescott in a row? And it started with this one, and this is the play that Dak said it got me back on rhythm. This is a lightning bolt of a throw to my man CeeDee Lamb.
I thought the best thing he did, Skip, he redirected the line. They were going to go to the left, and he said, no, go to the right.
There's the one to Amari, who made a sweet move on a rookie.
I love this design. That was a heck of a play design.
It's very clever. It's very unusual. I've never seen that play before. So here we go again to CD. That's a sweet throw. Couldn't hit it on the money any better than that. Mari had made a move and just left the safety in his wake, and then a little fake toss, and then swing pass, and Zeke high steps it in, and that was a killer. That put them up 24-13. And then, speaking of Zeke, one more play that did not obviously involve Dak Prescott. This is sleek Zeke freaking again, the way he did in 2016. He's starting to look 2016-ish right here. This is where I smell blood, I smell pay dirt, and I'm going to beat you to the pylon. And he's moving and grooving better than he has for 3 years to me. But,
Skip, you got to give it credit. The offensive line looks a lot better this year than it looked last year, because Zeke was getting hit in the backfield last year. Zeke ain't getting touched till he's like 4 or 5 yards down the field.
And he's running to Terrence Steele's side on that one, so Lyle Collins is due back soon, but Terrence Steele has held down that fort pretty well. He had a couple penalties yesterday, but still, I think he's played at a very high level.
Yeah, but you hadn't called his name on pass protection.
No, you have not. So all of a sudden, They are second in the league in rushing.
Yes.
I didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't see that coming.
All of a sudden, they're all the way up to under Dak Prescott at quarterback. They're now 28-0 when they run it more than they throw it.
Right.
And yesterday, once again, they just imposed their running will on the New York Giants. Now they're headed to Foxborough. Can they impose their running will on the Patriots? They will try.
Yes.
Will Belichick be able to take that away and make Dak beat him with from the pocket?
Right.
I'm cool with that if you can do it, because that's what happened on the opening night. That was the only time where they went 58 passes to only 18 runs, because nobody can run on Tampa.
Well, Skip, you got to take something away.
Yep.
You got to take, right now, Dallas is doing whatever they want. They're getting whatever they want, whenever they want. It does not matter. You can't let a team run for 200 and let the quarterback throw for a high completion percentage with over 250 yards. You got to say, look, you might throw for 350 from the pocket, but we're not going to let you run the football like you're running the football. And when that team can run it 39 attempts for 201, over 5 yards a carry, and Dak is 22 or 32 for 300, you're not beating a team that can do it like that.
It's just hard to do. The Dallas Cowboys haven't done that 300, 200 since week 7 of 1983.
Yes.
That's how long it's been since they had a 300 passing.
Now think about that. Now they won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s. And they never had, even with Emmett, Troy, and Mike, and that offensive line is Skip. You know that offensive line can move people.
But that was more of a running team.
Yes.
This is a combo team. This team can beat you both ways and can beat you dramatically.
Right.
Can explode on you running and or throwing.
Well, right now they're getting whatever they want.
Okay, now let's look at defense. I just want to make the point. We're going to talk about it in a little while here on the show. The Cleveland Browns at Chargers, you brought up the Chargers a little while ago.
Right.
The Cleveland Browns gave up 26 points in the fourth quarter. 26 points
that's absurd.
At Chargers. It has a lot to do with Justin Herbert, who gets better by the throw. My Cowboys went in there and allowed 3 points in the fourth quarter. You got to give it up to them, because they're getting better and better. I'm going to quote Mike McCarthy, and I don't quote him often, but he said, I've never seen one side of the ball flipped in the offseason like we flipped our defense. And it has to do with Jerry Jones and Will McClay and Dan Quinn coming in as the new coordinator. And Micah Parsons, the guy you saw coming before I did. It just has a new spirit, a new energy, and all of a sudden, Trevon Diggs is playing like the best cornerback in pro football.
He is.
That's not. He had another pick yesterday. If we could see that, please. This is his 9th interception in his last 10 games, if we date back to last year.
He does something.
And he's just tracking this one.
Watch how he bumps the receiver. He bumps the receiver like he's the receiver bumping a DB.
Well, he turned in the receiver, and his big brother can flat out catch it for the Buffalo Bills. And I was just joking yesterday, but just sort of half joking. He might make the Pro Bowl as a receiver and a cornerback at the pace he's going, because he just turns into the receiver. As soon as Glennon threw that ball up, it's like, oh, thank you. I got this. You don't got this. This is my ball.
And Skip, back to your point about the Chargers, it just goes to show you now, and you think about it, they won 20. Now look at what Dallas is scoring. They're averaging about 35, 36 points a game, and the Chargers held them to 16. So this is why I said, Skip, I would have given them, had they did this to the Chargers, because I believe the Chargers are very good. I think you're starting to come around to see that the Chargers are offensively, to go get 47, and they got it so easy. It was like, boom, 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 boom. And that kid Herbert. But Skip,
hey,
look,
and little Eckler, he's just unstoppable. Like, he can catch it and he can run it.
And those receivers and those tight ends. They got an offensive line is solid. But Skip, the Cowboys, look, I'm going to give the Cowboys, I'm going to need them to see them do this against, and I've looked at the schedule, and you looked at the schedule of the next 6 games. It's setting up very, very favorable. If they take care of business like they're supposed to, they might make a situation where the Super Bowl in the NFC has to come through Dallas.
Okay. I'm going to remind everybody again, opening night, when I thought they were really in trouble, they took the GOAT to the wire. It took the GOAT doing what the GOAT always does with 1:24 left, a game-winning drive and a walk-off field goal for them to survive Dallas on opening night. And then they go right out to the Chargers, and I thought, we're looking at 0-2 now. And they pulled it off.
Yeah.
They barely pulled it off with a Dak Prescott game-winning drive over Justin Herbert. And then they just annihilated Philly and Carolina came in hot, undefeated, and they took care of them with no problem. And then the Giants, and all of a sudden, they're 2 games up on the division, and I think you're starting to get in big trouble because I gave you TF as in the field. It's actually TGIF because I'm like, thank God it's the field,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Thank God it's the field.
You know what, at the end of the year, we might be able to combine the other three's record, and it might not be as good as Dallas.
Thank you. Are you ready to concede?
No, I'm not ready to concede. Okay. Skip, it's only 5 weeks into the season.
I got it. I got one last point.
Okay.
This was a big one as we go forward. And by the way, those 2 games that I told you at Brady and at Chargers, those are their 2 best overall games that they played.
Right.
And they're on the road against really good teams.
Right, yes.
You can make a case those 2, maybe the best on each side, right?
Chargers going to be there at the end, Skip.
Woo. Okay, last quick point. It was late. It was against the decimated Giants, but with 1:28 left in the game, my other cornerback picked one off and housed it, Anthony Brown. And you better get ready for this because he's going to see a whole lot of footballs going forward because Trevon Diggs is turning into Deion Sanders, right? So he just...
Skip, that was Mike Glennon. Okay. That's his 6th team in 6 years.
Mike Glennon. I once upon a time watched my Vanderbilt Commodores in the Music City Bowl just annihilate Mike Glennon in North Carolina State.
Yeah.
He threw 3 picks, and we just routed him.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's who he is and was. I got it.
Okay.
But you don't think that'll do him some good psychologically?
Anthony Brown, yeah, absolutely. Because he's the guy to get picked. He's the guy to get picked up.
Well, he's going to from this
even
point
more,
forward,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So bottom line, I'm going 7 overall just because they didn't fold. Dak didn't fold. And they flexed all their firepower right before your very eyes again. And even you are saying, that's a football team.
Right.
That's legit.
You
that's
know what, Skip? I might have would have gave him a 5 if they'd had all their guys there. If Golladay, Shepard, Slayton, Thomas, Daniel Jones, Saquon, if they're all there, Sterling Shepard. If all those guys are there, Skip, I might give them a 5-6. But, I mean, come on. The Giants are already struggling. And then you're going to take all of that away from them, Skip?
Okay.
You don't even feel bad about that, do you?
I don't feel bad about it because they have taken advantage of us many
Ain't nobody taking advantage of y'all.
Yep.
Skip, y'all hadn't had no injuries. Y'all have never been decimated like this since Dak's been there. You guys haven't been decimated like this.
We actually were missing like 10 guys 2 weeks ago, and they're slowly but surely coming back. And we're getting deeper and deeper and stronger, which is why Jimmy Johnson said 1 week ago, you better watch out for Dallas because they're going to hit the playoffs fresh and strong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Look at you. You got your chest all out. Okay.
I do.
The only thing
I'm not even afraid. I'm not even afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have any jinx fear.
I don't want to jinx him. I don't want to jinx him.
Okay, well, I'm not because I see legit.
Playing on another level. The only thing I think about when he makes a play is his son, Aiden. Remember the star of Hard Knocks? And just how happy he must be. I'm just glad he's playing so well, guys. And then Skip's other guy, Tom Brady, also playing really well. After an emotional win against his old team, Brady was downright surgical in the Bucs' 45-17 victory over the Dolphins. The 44-year-old threw for 411 yards and 5 touchdowns, despite apparently hurting his hand during the first half. So, Shannon, give Brady a letter grade for yesterday.
He had a tremendous stat line, 430-something yards. That's the first time he's had, 405 touchdowns, Skip, no interceptions, I think, in his career. I think that's the first time in his career. And we know what his career has been, all-time league touchdown passes, passing yards. We know all the numbers. But, Skip, he got a little extra. You saw what he did in the fourth quarter now. He stat padded. You saw that now.
I saw it.
Okay. As long as you know you saw it.
It's called going for the jugular.
It's called going for the MVP. That's what it's called, going for an extra 106 yards and 2 touchdowns when they were already up. Skip, look, I don't know what's going to happen come trade deadline. I think it's November the 2nd. But if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm looking to move Byron Jones and Xavier Howard.
Are you really?
That's unacceptable.
Wow.
Skip, Xavier Howard had 10 picks last year. And he couldn't cover me right now. He's not even trying. Skip, that effort what Byron Jones was doing yesterday, the way Mike Evans is a legit receiver. But you can't have that. Xavier Howard, the way he was doing on Antonio Brown, we can't have that.
You sure that the Bucs just weren't better?
Skip, they can beat Bucs as an overall team can be better. Xavier Howard was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. And he looks like the worst corner in football. Byron Jones, this is one of the reasons why the Cowboys, they're, y'all good. Y'all go ahead and take it up. Because it's these kinds of performances, Skip. Tampa is a better overall team. But I expect my best players to look. You go to any bad team. And you can find their best players, even in a bad game, even in a tough loss, you'll find that's their best player on offense. That's their best player on defense. Xavier Howard and Byron Jones should be their best players on defense. And that yesterday effort was bad. That doesn't look good. Because you have to understand, Skip, you put that on tape. Is that what you want disseminated? When teams break down and look at the Dolphins' defense, they're like, man, Byron Jones, man, he quit. Xavier Howard, man, he laid it down. Skip, the Dolphins have lost 4 straight. I don't know how the Patriots lost to them. If they don't fumble on the 1-yard line, we already know that has happened.
So what are you doing, giving Brady an F?
I gave him a C+. I gave him a C+. I gave him a C+, Skip, because he padded his stats. You know he padded his stats. They're trying to give him the MVP, and you know what? I hate saying this. Who's
trying to give him the MVP?
The team.
Oh, the team. Okay.
The team. No, the league's not trying to get the lead. No, the league don't care. The team. First of all, I like it. I love playing for situations like this because I get my stats up too. Because as long as Brady's in the game, that means I'm going to be in the game, and there's a chance for me to catch passes, catch a touchdown. So,
Mike Evans loved it in the fourth quarter because he got 2 big touchdown passes.
Exactly.
Yep.
You got to feed him, Skip, because, you know, been getting AB getting that money. Like, hold on, that's Tommy. I know that's your boy, but hey.
That is correct.
So, for me, I gave him a C+, but to Skip the Dolphins, now you see why the owner wants to make that move for that guy in Houston. Houston trying to stand firm, give me 3 first-rounders.
Yep.
But I'm not so sure.
I thought you were a Tua guy.
Skip, Tua can't stay healthy, Skip.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Xavier Howard last year was first-team All-Pro.
Yeah, he had 10 picks.
First-team All-Pro. Everybody's raving about it. He was the #1 rated corner by Pro Football Focus last year.
What's he rated now?
I don't know. Byron Jones has made a Pro Bowl before.
Yes.
And he is still, to this moment, the highest paid cornerback in pro football. That's what you're up against.
Why?
So you can't tell me there wasn't some degree of difficulty at the opening kickoff. You know, you're up against, I don't know, I'd say going into the game, a lot of people around the league would say they would be in the top 5 of cornerback duos.
Yes, but Skip, that's what I'm saying. That's where pride takes over. Even though I'm on a bad team, I'm going to show, okay, y'all might win, but I'm going to make it tough on you.
Okay. I want you to know that going into yesterday, the Miami Dolphins had gone 26 games straight with a takeaway. That is the NFL record streak for takeaways.
Right.
26 straight games.
Well.
Yesterday, they got none. So Brady and company broke the 26-game streak. So you got to give him some credit for that because the Dolphins do take the ball away, and they are proud. They play with a contagious pride. We take the ball away. But once again, what did Pro Football Focus say last week? We give Brady sort of the quarter pole. I know it's 17 games. But we give him our #1 grade at the quarter pole because he has 0 turnover-worthy plays. And I did not see one yesterday. Maybe they'll grade one somewhere, but I didn't see a turnover-worthy play yesterday.
You saw a bunch of guys wide open.
Okay.
You saw no tight window throws yesterday, Skip.
Okay. Now, let's just look quickly at the 5 touchdown passes, if we could, in order. We go to, I thought Gio, you thought he got hurt in the last play of that game, but here's Gio. He just hits him right over the middle, and he goes in the end zone again, and Tom's starting to love him like James White. There was a great throw to AB, who streaks away 62 yards for a touchdown.
That's Xavier Howard right there.
Yep. And then we got AB for a little 4-yarder. There's nobody better than this.
That's Xavier Howard right there.
That is correct. And then here's the first one.
This is Byron Jones.
Bombs away on Mike Evans.
That's Byron Jones.
I got it. And then we got one more just for good measure to Mike Evans, and they don't even try to tackle him. They don't try to tackle him.
Look at that. Come on, Skip.
Okay, I'm going to remind you that with 4:11 left in the second quarter, Tom hit his hand on, I guess it was a helmet, and hurt his thumb, and he was shaking his thumb, and it was taped. It was wrapped up after the game last night. Here it is. He just banged it on a throw to Cam Brate and hit it right on the helmet. And it was his thumb, and he shook it. I'm sure it swelled up last night. And the point was he went to the media session with it taped, and he said, you know, back in my days in New England, there's no way I would ever come here with this tape because we would have kept it under wraps.
Right.
But he said, in my older age, I don't care anymore. I'll just come with it wrapped up.
Right.
So he did, and yet all he did was throw 3 more touchdown passes after that. So I'm not going to get real upset about it.
Man, Skip, look here. The way the Dolphins were playing defense, he could have had his thumb in a pie. like little boy Blue.
Okay.
Little Jack Horner, whoever sat in the corner with his thumb in the pie, Tom Brady could have did that and threw a touch. Skip, you saw those plays. You saw Byron Jones and Xavier Howard will give it up. Skip, you saw that. You saw that on tape.
Okay, I hear you, but I also say that yesterday, Brady is putting on a masterpiece of a show because this one throw to AB, and I want to see it one more time, the one that broke for 62 yards.
Oh, the shallow cross, yeah.
Okay, this is, as you say, this is a Rembrandt, Picasso, this is a Van Gogh, because he's got a blitzer right in his face, and he did get hit 6 times yesterday and sacked twice. The blitzer comes right in his face, and he gets hit. It was a fall away and a breakaway, but that is all time. That is goatish to me. Because that's a hard throw under that kind of pressure to hit him right on the button where he could turn it upfield.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get a lot better than that.
That's a heck of a throw. That was a great route. Stem him, shallow cross, just keep running away. I mean, Xavier Howard, Skip, come on.
Okay, I got it. But last night on NBC, Drew Brees said, and I quote, Tom Brady is the best deep thrower in the National Football League. You often say he dinks and dunks too much, and some yesterday he did dink and dunk. But when it's time to cut it loose, as we saw on the 2 throws, especially the first throw to Mike Evans, the 4th touchdown, it's just home run sweet. It's on the money where his arm strength is to me, that's 44 going on 24.
Right. But when you see teams play like this, general managers, owners, this is when they look to replace the coach. Because it looked like those guys quit, Skip. It looked like that defense gave it up. Now, the offense is not that talented
Another
to begin with.
Belichick disciple, right?
This is bad. That's bad football. That's bad what they put on tape yesterday.
Okay. Well, he had them on the rise, right?
Yeah.
Brian Flores has had them going in the right direction, I thought, until yesterday. But don't underestimate the firepower that the Bucs hit you with from all angles, because Leonard Fournette is finally looking like what I thought he was at LSU when I thought he was going to win the Heisman Trophy his junior year at LSU. Well, he's starting to look like that guy.
They ran the ball 25 times, 121 yards. He's running well. He's getting the lion's share of the carries now. Because I'm not so sure how much they trust Rojo. Because they put him in the game and somehow the ball ends up on the turf. Seems like every time he's in the game.
Well, the other thing, Tom just loves to throw it to play off Lenny, right? Because he trusts him to catch it and be where he's supposed to be on the little option routes, the little underneath, the dinks and the dunks, as you say.
Right.
So would you believe that Tom Brady at 44 now has the 2 highest passing totals in regulation for the whole season? He's got a 432, which was at the Rams in a losing effort.
Right.
But then yesterday was 411. So those are 1-2. In the pecking order of biggest passing yardage in regulation. I know Derek Carr had one in with the overtime.
Right, but it's still, I think he had like 4 or 3, so Tom still has the most passing yards. 4 or 3.
I think he had a little more than 432. I think he's got the most with overtime, including overtime.
They played well, Skip. I gave Tom a C+. Like I said, he did this. If he had done this against now he puts a performance like this against New England's defense.
Yeah.
Or hey, they don't turn it. This maybe had been the performance he would have had they not had those 4 turnovers against Dallas. And now, Skip, we got to hold it. He does something like this against the Cowboys, and we know what the Cowboys have started to become defensively. Now I got to sit back like, well, hold on, wait a minute. This joker doing this at 44 against a team like that?
Shannon, I can't give him anything less than an A for yesterday. I don't know what he did wrong. And they came in with some credibility, and he destroyed all
They ain't got no credibility. They won 1 game.
He is, I think, pulling away with the MVP that I predicted he was going to win.
I don't think he's pulling away with it, Skip.
I mean, a game-winning drive against Dallas, and then 5 touchdowns against Atlanta, and 432 at the Rams. Really? And then he outplayed, I don't care what you say, he outplayed Mac Jones.
No, he
did everything he needed to do late. He got hot late at New England in his emotional roller coaster game. He won it.
As we're going to talk about this a little later also, we see a lot of times quarterbacks can put the team in position, but it comes down to the leg of the kicker. We saw that fiasco up in Cincinnati.
Fiasco. Yep. Okay, in the end, all I know is he's leading the league with 15 touchdown passes, leading the league in yards passing.
Nah, he ain't leading the league. My homeboy got 17 tubs.
No? I thought it was 15.
What's up? No, my homeboy got
he had
60.
you know what? I didn't add on what he had last night. Because he was so bad, I forgot he did.
There you go. Yeah, that was unnecessary.
Two picks and a lost fumble, really?
Yeah, he was
You're
bad.
right. He did. He
was bad. He was bad last night. He
was bad, but he did tack on a couple more touchdowns.
Yeah.
So Brady would be second in touchdowns, first in yards passing, first in MVP at this point.
Yeah, Skip, you know what? I think they might have to do a caveat because people are going to look at the 17 games and these records, some records are going to fall, especially passing records. I don't know if that rushing, now, the way Derrick Henry's going, he might get ED's rushing record.
He might.
I don't think anybody's going to touch Emmett's all-time rushing record. But, Skip, I think these passing records, we got to, you do realize they get an extra game now.
Yep.
Because somebody's going to throw for probably 60 touchdowns.
Well, it will have an asterisk.
somebody going to throw for, and I'm just waiting for the day, somebody's going to probably throw for 6,000 yards in the season.
Okay. It just might be the 44-year-old.
It just might be at the pace he's going because what's he at? He's probably at 1,800 yards right now, 1,700.
Here he comes. There you go.
That's right.
No mercy.
According to Fox Bet Sportsbook, Buffalo is now favored to win the Super Bowl after Josh Allen scored 4 total touchdowns and the Bills beat the Chiefs 38-20. Patrick Mahomes threw 2 touchdowns and had 2 picks as Kansas City fell to 2-3, still in last place in the AFC West. So, Shannon, you had the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. I'm reminding you of that. So how worried are you about your pick to win it all?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 10, Skip. But I've been worried since opening day. And what we've seen, Skip, I think they put on the screen last night since 1970 that the first team to allow at least 29 points to start the season in all 5 games. And the defense seems to be getting worse. And what's happening is that my homeboy needs to understand my defense is not good enough to bail me out if I turn this ball over. Now, that first turnover, Skip, there's nothing you can do about that. He hit Tyreek right in the hand. Tyreek muffed it, and the guy gets a pick
Agreed.
6.
I'll give you that one.
Lucas Niang, you need to understand, Skip, and this is why. And I never understood this until after I was done, is that Mike would get on us, even if we did something, if the play went good, but if we didn't do our, Mike Shanahan, if we didn't do our responsibility, he say this will come back and bite us at some point in time when we least expect it. Okay, the ball's going to come out of Mahomes' hand quick. Niang needs to cut Russo to get his hands down, but he blocks him like a regular play.
He did.
Russo gets his hands up, boom.
Russo is 6 feet 7 inches tall.
So that's what you do, Skip. You try to cut him so he can get his hands down so you can throw it quick. He sees it, gets his hands up, gets a pick. Boom, basically ends the game like that. And another thing defensively, Frank Clark, what are you doing? I get that Josh Allen jumps, but you power drived him. The officials looking at the referee, that's his job, to look at the quarterback. You power drived him. I mean, I know Chief fans
drove him in the turf.
Drove him into the dirt. And I know the Chief fans are upset. It's like, how do you know?
It was a big play.
It was a big play because you got an interception.
Yep.
You had the momentum. Now they get the ball back. They methodically go down the field, get a touchdown to end it. But Skip, the fear factor and what we're starting to see is that Tampa gave everybody the blueprint.
Yep.
So you play shell coverage, which means you keep your safeties deep.
Yep.
You don't let anything get over your head. And we drop everybody in coverage, and we try to get home with 4. Well, what they try to do is that they say, you know what? We don't believe Kansas City will stick to the game plan and run the football. They started out kind of like Wilder. We're going to talk about Wilder. He started out with that jab. And Sugar Hill said he ain't going to stay with it. He running out of gas. Look at him over there.
Yep.
Look at him over there. They're not going to stick with that. That's not who they are.
And by the way, Edwards-Helaire got hurt, and it did not look good.
It didn't look good, Skip, but they were not even running the ball before Edwards-Helaire. If you look at what they do, Philly, they ran the ball, light box. Skip, if there's a light box, they're inviting you. You've got to be committed to running the football. Even if you only get 1 to 2 yards, you've got to stick with it. And so now you get in a situation where they know it's 3rd and long, they play coverage, and Mahomes doesn't have those lanes because everybody's deep because they're not going to let Tyreek take the top off the coverage. But I'm very concerned, Skip, because their defense is bad. They got, I don't know who has the worst defense, but they're fighting Kansas City for the worst defense, whomever that may be it Jacksonville, be it Seattle, but all of those guys are right there together fighting for the worst. And now,
some moments I think it's the Buccaneers. But go ahead, because they're so decimated in the back end. But go ahead.
But Skip, look, you see Kelsey took a big shot last night. He didn't come back in the game.
He did not.
Said Tyreek is dealing with a knee issue. Edwards-Helaire got dinged up last night. They're in trouble. They're in trouble.
Are you ready to back off your Super Bowl pick? Ready to give it up?
Skip, it's not looking good. Buffalo Look, I got several teams. I got Buffalo in front of them now. I got the Chargers in front of them now. Obviously, the Ravens are in front of them now. All those teams they've lost to. There's some good teams, but Kansas City might be the fourth or fifth best team in the AFC currently.
By the way, I know you're still very down on the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk about them in a few minutes. What happened on opening day? The Steelers went to Buffalo.
A little glip.
And dismantled Buffalo?
If Buffalo played Pittsburgh right now, they beat them by 14.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Pittsburgh's rounding back in shape as they displayed against your Denver Broncos.
Man, stop that.
Well, you love your Broncos defense, and Ben just took it all apart yesterday.
They had more success running than I thought they would.
Okay, here we go. So what did I see last night? I'm going to start with your homeboy, my homeboy.
Yeah.
I have never wavered on this. I think he's a great kid with a great arm, all-time great arm, and the greenest light in the history of light.
Right.
From an Andy Reid who is spoiling him rotten because he is trying to get away, and often does get away, with near murder as far as what a quarterback should try or not try. But after a while, you just can't do that. So now he has 6 interceptions. He had 6 all of last year. He is devolving as a quarterback to me because there's no more discipline left in his game. He's trying to live up to the hype, which is hard not to live up to because you and everybody else says, never see anything like this. Did you see that throw? Off platform, it's like, it's completely off the world, you know, like there's never been anything like some of the throws that he pulls off.
Right.
No looks. I'm waiting for behind the back, between the legs, right?
Well, you saw the jump shot touchdown to Kelsey last night.
Okay, so he did that. And yet I want to show the one catch that Josh Gordon made in his first stint as a Kansas City Chief.
Right.
Welcome back, Josh Gordon. And this is kind of a no look. I don't even know what it is. I don't know if he knew what it was. He just says, I'm just going to throw this.
I thought he was throwing it number one, McKinnon.
I thought so, too. And I think he was throwing it to number one also because he just jumps and flings into the middle of the field. It's like everything was wrong about that play except the big guy, Josh Gordon, who goes about 6'3", 225.
Yep.
He went up and snatched it, and that was his one and only catch for the night. Well, he gets away with those sometimes, and sometimes your luck can turn against you where you keep trying and trying and trying, and nobody is like even slapping your wrist. Right. No, we can't do that, Pat. Right. You know, we can't do that. We got to let's try to clean it up a little bit.
And the thing is, Skip, sometimes you have a defense that can bail you out. When you make a mistake like that, you have a defense that can bail you out. But their defense isn't good enough. I don't know what else Sorensen has to do. Maybe he's married to Andy Reid's daughter. Maybe he knows somebody in the organization. But Skip, you cannot be that bad.
No.
He
has made plays in the past, but lately he's been
Skip, he carries the tight end up the field. He has a man, and it just drops him.
He just gave up on him.
And then he looks around like, what?
Well, it was like he thought, like in the clock in your head, 1001, 1002, but Josh Allen had gotten outside the pocket. Well, he's extending the way Patrick extends plays.
And you take, Skip, he's like Patrick Mahomes with his ability to extend plays and to make plays. Now, he got better legs than Patrick Mahomes because he can motor. To give you something, he ran that quarterback draw yesterday.
Well, speaking of motor, let's see the early fourth quarter motor. It was 3rd and 4, and this just basically sealed the deal. If we
when you heard him?
This is pretty special for what do we call him? 6'5",
easy,
240.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty athletic. I'm not going to say it's all-time great, but 6'5", 240. That's pretty
the only
athletic.
other guy I think in the NFL that would attempt that is Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Him and Lamar were the only one that would be able to pull that off.
He's not in Lamar's galaxy
but I'm saying
athletic ability.
that would know, okay, the guy going to go low, I'm going to go over the top of him.
Okay. And he went completely over the top of him. And I was impressed, and he was fired up, and his sideline went berserk.
Yes, because that sealed it.
That sealed the deal. 3rd and 4, I got this. He impressed me even more with his legs last night than his arm because he led them in rushing with 11 carries for 59 yards.
Yeah.
That will work.
Yes.
And he obviously threw some rockets that you just...
He can throw it, Skip.
He and Justin Herbert are up there of young rocket arms where you just say, well, that's just too good.
And in Buffalo, Skip, you need that kind of arm because you know what the weather gets like in Buffalo. You know how that wind be blowing.
Okay, so what shocked me when I looked at the final stats last night was my homeboy and company had the ball for 79 plays, and Josh Allen had it for only 54 plays. So that's plus 25 plays for the home team. Well, usually that would indicate visitors are in trouble, right? Guess what? On yards per play, Buffalo last night was 8.1, and my homeboy's offense was 5.0. So every time they gained yardage, they gained an average of 3 more yards per play. Well, that's how you did this.
Exactly.
Because in the end, it was a runaway in favor of the visiting team. And you cannot tell me they weren't ready to make a statement. I know after the game, Josh Allen saying it's only week 5, it's only 5 games, blah, blah, blah. No,
but you wanted to come in there and show, Skip, because
statement was made.
This was the AFC Championship matchup last year, and you wanted to show.
And you weren't really competitive in that game.
You came to their house and did this. This was not, well, you know what? Not only did they beat them up. Now Kansas City is questioning, man, that defense is questioning, that offense is questioning itself. I don't care. They can put on all Andy and my homeboy can put all the positive spin they want to. But you're after getting beat like this, you quit. Skip. And the last, what was it? I think after Mahomes turned the ball, fumbled that ball. They had 10 men in the box.
Yep.
You know Buffalo is not going to throw a pass. All they're going to do is run, and you can't get the ball back with 10 in the box.
Maybe you're just not good at. They did lose Chris Jones in the second half, so I think
I don't think he played the whole game.
Was it the whole game?
Yeah, he didn't start. He didn't play at all because they got Frank Clark back.
Yeah. Well, they missed Chris Jones last night because they were not getting any heat on.
No, but they get nothing.
Okay, so in the end, if your team is going to rally and be even respectable and be a playoff team, because they're going to have a hard time coming back in that division.
Oh yeah, I don't believe they can catch the Chargers. The Chargers are really good. That quarterback.
Okay, your quarterback, my homeboy, is going to have to clean up his act. He's going to have to grow up some more. He's going to have to live down to the hype, and he's going to have to start making throws that are makeable because you need to up your percentage and complete the easy ones instead of the impossible.
He had an easy throw to Kelce for about 30 yards, and he overshot him by 10 feet. And I was like, oh, I sure hope this is not a sign of things to come. And it was. Buffalo beat him up, Skip. There's no way around it. Buffalo, I can just imagine you get up there in January and all you hear is, let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. They're going to be tough.
They brought me around last night because that's the best overall game I've seen Josh Allen play in the bright lights. That was big time.
Yeah, he elevated it for sure.
Okay, that's going to be a big time game. They play Tampa, Skip, in Tampa.
Yes.
It's later. It's
I think it's in December. That's going to be a game.
Really good one. How about what we saw as well here? How did Russell Westbrook look in his Lakers debut this weekend? We are getting close to the season.
No mercy.
So the new-look Lakers struggled just a bit this weekend as Russell Westbrook played his first 2 preseason games for the purple and gold. The former MVP had 6 turnovers Friday and 9 turnovers yesterday as LA fell to 0-4 this preseason. I know it's preseason, Shannon, but how worried should LeBron be about his new point guard?
Well, Skip, this isn't a great start. This isn't a great start. This isn't the start I think the Lakers were looking for. I'm concerned that the turnovers increased. Normally in preseason, you would like to see, okay, if we start off slow, things pick up, not go the other way. Start off with 6 turnovers, then all of a sudden in game 2 go to 9. Now, I still want to see all these guys play together because I think that for me, I don't get what the strategy is. Okay, Russ, you and LeBron play together, but then AD, you're going to sit out. Okay, Russ, you and AD going to play together, but LeBron, you're going to sit out. The whole thing is to see this project, this chemistry experiment with those 3 guys on the court together.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to disagree with LeBron because LeBron says the practice court is more important than these games.
What he said last night.
For me, Skip, the whole thing is that let's see if what we're doing on the practice court carries over to the game. If I'm doing great things in the practice court and it's not carrying over to the game, so what actually are we doing? I just need to see these guys get together. That was the whole part of practicing, is to have practice carry over to the games. So for me, I just want to see the 3 guys on the court together. I've said it before, Skip. This is I don't care what anybody says. I understand what Russ is as an individual. But as a unit combining these three things, this is not a natural fit. And it's going to take some time. And if anybody can make it work, I believe LeBron James can make this work. But he got his work cut out for it. If he think this thing gonna be a walk in the park, and maybe he'll say nothing has come easy in my life. This might be one of the hardest things that you're gonna have to do in your life.
Okay, what do I always say about your man, LeBron James? He is still the best passer in basketball. He still has the highest IQ, basketball IQ, in the sport. And he has to be horrified, as in Halloween Michael Myers horrified by what he's seeing from this guy.
Right.
Because this guy plays completely out of control, and he is now the Los Angeles Lakers point guard.
Right.
I first guessed this. He has led the league. How many times have I told you this? 4 times, and finished second 4 times in turnovers. Turnovers. Well, I don't know if he's trying to show Laker Nation just how much he can take control of this team. Something's gone completely amiss and over the edge, because just for the record, he has on Friday night, his first stint as a Laker.
Right.
He had 6 turnovers in only 17 minutes. They actually had it 7 in the box score, and they amended it back to 6. I don't know why that was after the game was over. But then last night, he had 9 more turnovers in 26 minutes. Not that high of minutes. So that's 15 total turnovers in 2 fairly short stints as the Laker point guard.
Right.
And if we could please see the 9 in a row from last night, just to drive home the urgency of LeBron's concern right now. Here we go. Whoops. Yikes. Russ. Whoops. That's no good. This looks like an undrafted rookie. Whoops. That was off target to Dwight.
What?
Russ? What are you doing? Who was that to? Russ. This is completely out of control. And whoops. Russ, wake up. What are you doing? Offensive foul. And here we go. Another bull in China shop. So the problem with Russell Westbrook is he has no shame. He has no humility. He has no memory in a good or bad way. If he turns it over one time, he'll just come right back down 100 miles an hour, bull in China shop. I'm just going to do it this time. I'll do it this time. No, I'll do it this time. And if I could just show you, I was watching this game very closely last night as I watched both the football and the basketball game. At the first of the game, he was equally out of control and got away with 2 early in the game that should have been turnovers. If we could just see these quickly. He drives down and he tries to go completely around and behind his back. And this is a lob pass that was just completely off target to AD, and he just couldn't catch it. So here's the first one. He tries to go behind his back, and it goes off Russ. And Jay Crowder's saying, no, I didn't touch it. And here's the lob pass. It's just off target. All of his lob passes are just off target. Yeah. LeBron never misses a lob. When he lobs to AD, it's just a pinpoint because he's the best at it, okay? So why would you I just can't get it through my head. You have entrusted this man to be your point guard?
But I ain't got no choice.
LeBron's the point guard. He was born to be Magic Johnson. He's that guy. He's got to say, no, you got to get out of my way. That's why I told you. I don't even know where you put Russ, but LeBron's kind of drifting over to the 2 or the 3. I don't know what he's going to be, maybe the 3. No, again, I know he wants to concentrate on scoring so he doesn't have to worry about bringing the ball up. I got that. But in the end, you got to concentrate on winning. And the only way you're going to overcome Russell Westbrook is if you do it, you be the point guard. And I agree. I don't know what Frankie V is thinking about. Why would you got a new big 3-6-0, right?
Yeah.
0 for 0 rings. Russell Westbrook. By the way, he's 4 of 19 from the field so far, so it's not like he's offsetting it by just
light scoreboard.
Okay, so why wouldn't you have a new big 3, play them together at least for a little bit?
Thank you.
Just a little bit.
That's all I'm saying.
Just to say, wonder how this feels. Let them get a taste of each other. Just how do you?
You know what it seems like, Skip? You hear all this talk, man, I heard they got something new, man. We just gonna wait to break it out open tonight against the Warriors.
Against the Warriors, really?
Y'all not going to get all the bugs out, get all the kinks out before y'all just going to say, hey, we got a car, it's ready to be sold.
Shannon, you got to be at least, can I even go to concerned with
I'm
you?
a little concerned, but like I said.
Concerned.
LeBron.
Okay. Russell Westbrook is the all-time solo act stat machine. That's what he is, and he's a blast to watch. He is must-see TV. I can't tell you how many Wizards games and Thunder games I watched when he was just solo act, because it's like nobody can average triple-doubles, and he did it for the last 5 years.
How about this, Skip? Forget the offense. Forget the big three playing together. I thought this was going to be a defensive team.
Yeah.
They were down by 10 in the first quarter. They gave 37-20 in the third quarter, and they gave another 35 in the fourth. So I thought we were going to play defense. I thought we were going to get back to, the big lineup, guys playing defense. You got 123 points.
Okay.
In a preseason game.
And by the way, every time I watch them, they're not even competitive in the game itself. And I know it's just preseason. You're throwing a lot of new faces out there. Carmelo has actually played very well. He's been the bright spot.
Melo was 5 of 7 from the three last night.
5 of 7. By the way, LeBron started off 0 for 3 in his first night. That was his only game.
But you see we pick it up, though, right?
3.
You see us pick it up, right?
What's that?
We picked it up.
Picked it up?
Yeah, we started out a little slow, but did that stroke started.
Okay, but he went up 0 for 3 from 3, which is shades of things to come.
No, it ain't no shade.
Okay. It's okay.
We already got a bet. We're going to shoot 35%. We already got a bet from 3.
We did?
Yes.
35%?
30 from 3. 35.
35 is horrible. We didn't make that bet.
You know what?
Why would I bet you that?
Since I like you, let's make it 36. Let's make it 36.
No.
It's 37.
Well, do something that's
37.
credible.
37.
37?
He'll shoot 37% from the 3.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you 37. Well, I thought we did a free throw line bet.
We did.
Which is?
You got to shoot 70%. You said you're going to shoot 70%.
70? I thought you said 75.
No, we go 72. We'll split the difference.
But what is this? Revisionist history.
72.
Well, let me just give you cases back.
Skip,
okay?
you say the last 3 years, he's been under 70%.
Well, he has 4 of the last 5 years.
Okay, well, 72 is good.
72?
Yes.
I'll do 73.
All right, 73.
73, and what do we say from 3?
37% from 3.
37, okay.
Yep.
He has to be that or better, right?
36.8 is 37.
No, it's not. It's under 37.
Skip,
you have to be exactly 37,
Skip,
exactly 73.
They round up. Anything above 5.
Well, we're not rounding on this. This is 73 or better, 37 or better. And that's fine with me, but again,
all right, I do 37.
Your problems are much bigger than LeBron's shooting woes, because your problems are, it's wrong place, wrong time, wrong fit, because you've thrown a new team together with the wrong initiator. It's why Kevin Durant said, I can't do this anymore. I'll take all the shame you want to heap on me. I'm going to join forces with those guys that we had down 3-1. I'm going to Golden State.
We're going to make it
because
work.
I cannot win with him as my primary decision.
We're going to make it work.
Huh?
It's not off to the promising start that I'd hoped for, but we'll fix it.
Promising start? 6 turnovers and 9 turnovers?
I said it's
that
not
easily could have been 11?
I said we didn't get off to the promising start I had hoped for.
I've never seen anything like this.
But
calm down. I mean, LeBron had to just pull him aside after the game and say, you just need to calm down, man.
LeBron got this.
Yeah? Does he?
LeBron, I trust.
There's only one way he's got this, is if he takes the team back over and he initiates and quarterbacks the offense.
We might do. We're gonna let Russ.
Okay? Then I don't know what you do with Russ. Do you play him at the 2?
We're gonna look. We're gonna get Russ first crack at it, and if things don't go according,
okay,
we'll step in.
Well, all I know is he's gonna lead the league in turnovers, because it ain't gonna be close.
No, it's gonna be. No, he ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Luka gonna lead the league in turnovers.
Luka, he's up there usually.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck.
He had a busy weekend. He was also trying to cheer on the Browns as well.
Hey, you saw it, yeah.
He likes everyone. The Cowboys.
I thought he was a Cowboy fan.
No, he been told you he been told you he liked the Browns.
Oh, that's new.
That is, where he's from. Give him that. I don't know how much it worked though.
No mercy.
Justin Herbert scored 5 total touchdowns, and the Chargers outlasted Baker Mayfield and the Browns in a 47-42 contest. Both teams combined for over 1,000 yards of total offense, but LA outscored Cleveland 26-15 in the fourth quarter to improve to 4-1 and now sit atop the AFC West. So, Shannon, what was your biggest takeaway from this game?
Justin Herbert is miles, light years ahead of Baker Mayfield.
Wrong.
And he's showing he's the real deal, and he's smack dab in the hunt of this MVP. When you Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Josh
you
Allen.
actually acknowledge that Tom Brady's in the race?
Yeah, I said it.
Wow.
No, you talk about he was in the front of the race. I said he was in the race.
I said he's running away with the race.
No, he's not running away with it, Skip. Because this is what we know about Baker. Now, we can't make any excuses. He has a great offensive line. He has the best running game. He has great weapons, tight ends. Look at Njoku, Austin Hooper, Bryant, wide receivers, Peoples-Jones and Schwartz and Odell, Higgins.
You haven't named a great one yet.
No, great receiver. Maybe not one, but as a collective unit, they're really good.
Was Jarvis there yesterday?
Hold on, whoa.
Go ahead.
Defense, they spent a lot of money on the defense.
Yep.
For me, Skip, this is what we know about Baker. We have yet to see Baker. When things are going good, front running, when he got that touchdown and put him up by 14, he taking pictures. Come on, hey, give me that steal shot. Come on, show me some energy. I need passion. He clicking. Now, this is what happened when the Chargers got within 1 point of him. With 3:15 left, he went 3 and out. They got the ball back, went down, scored a touchdown. With 1:31 left in a timeout, he got 2 first downs. He couldn't even get them in field goal range. Even if they needed a field, all they needed was a field goal. Baker Mayfield could not get the Cleveland Browns in field goal range. After
they didn't need a field goal. I'm
just saying, can you at least get them in field goal range just in case? 35 attempts, 230 yards. Chubb, 21 for 161. Kareem Hunt, 12 for 61. 7.7, 5.1. And Baker Mayfield, this all you got? This all you can give us? You was up there kid just earlier. We saw this last year, opening day. Remember opening day, they had that big lead, Skip? We saw this in the playoff game last year. Mahomes got hurt and Henny came in. What we're starting to see is that Baker Mayfield doesn't seem to have the capabilities of bringing a team back. When they in the front and he keying, he all good. I want to see you fall behind and bring that team back.
Okay, you done?
I'm done.
My turn. Baker Mayfield played great on the road at SoFi Stadium against a team that well might be the best team in the AFC at this point. It's between them and Buffalo on who's playing the best right now.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield played great against that team, but Justin Herbert played better. I will give you that. And yet, if we could see what Baker was up against.
What are he up against?
Well, he was up against, he doesn't have Keenan Allen at wideout. He doesn't even have Mike Williams at wideout. I'll take either one of those over anybody he was playing with yesterday because I've told you, I first guessed this. Odell and Baker have no chemistry. I don't understand it. I don't know what's happened. They're very close off the field, and they cannot get close on the field. So early on in this game, it was a 4th and 2 at the Chargers 17. If we could see this, 8:16 left actually in the second quarter. Tell me what happens here, Mr. Sharpe. Baker throws it to Odell.
He dropped it.
He dropped it.
He just flat dropped it.
It's a first down.
That'd have been a first down, Skip. He dropped it.
Just hit him right in the hands.
He dropped it.
Couldn't hold it.
So he winds up running.
He winds up throwing Odell 3 passes. He caught 2 of them for 20 yards.
Yeah.
He had little to no impact
He dropped
on the
Skip.
game. Jarvis Landry is not there. When he comes back, things will change. So, again, Baker's playing with one hand tied behind his back because he doesn't have a wide receiver who he knows can get open against a very good defense.
So how did he get that hand free to have a 28-13 lead? How did he get that hand free?
27-13.
Yeah, so how did he get that hand free?
Okay, and yet in the fourth quarter, somehow Justin Herbert scored 26 points on a Cleveland defense I thought was very good. But I did not realize until after the game, wait a second, because I'm trying to watch 3 games at once.
Yeah.
Greedy Williams out. Denzel Ward out. So they're down to their second-string corners in the fourth quarter against Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
I think Greedy got hurt in the game.
Yeah, he did. But I'm saying Denzel was already out. So Greedy went down in the first quarter. So they're really fighting up. You know, they're fighting uphill against a guy who's just getting better by the rocketry, right? He's throwing rockets all over the field. Okay, so now we come to the first controversial play on which the Cleveland Browns got robbed. I think even LeBron he'd be the first. We should have him on the show and talk about how the Browns
didn't get robbed. They got robbed by selecting Baker. That's what the robbery took place.
This is 9-10 left in the game. It's 4th and 4 at the 41, and they just say, we're going to go for this. Justin Herbert says, we're going to go for this, and he throws deep to Mike Williams. In the backup corner, A.J. Green is there. Mike Williams grabs him by the jersey to pull himself up. It's clearly offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
It's offensive pass interference. It should be Cleveland's ball back at the 41 because they would decline it, and they would be going the other way in Chargers territory at the 41-yard line.
Right.
And the backup corner gets flagged for pass interference, and it turns the whole game on its head. This is the play of the game. It's pure robbery on A.J. Green. He is pulling on his jersey to boost himself up so he can try to catch the football.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
How tall is Mike Williams? Like 6'4" or 5"?
Yeah. He's a big receiver.
Okay, he's a big receiver. And by the way, did you see the targets yesterday that he got? Because Justin Herbert threw him 16 balls, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Whew.
He got them Devontae Adams targets.
Yeah, he did. He got Devontae.
You know Devontae gonna get 16.
19 or 20. Yeah, he got 16, only caught 8 of them. Okay, so in the fourth quarter, Baker actually played pretty well. He threw for 111 yards in the fourth quarter. And if you do that times 4, that's 444 yards. That'd be bigger than Brady's 432. That's the best in regulation. But guess who threw for 209 in the fourth quarter? 209?
And how many touchdowns? He had like 3 touchdowns.
2. He had 2 touchdowns and obviously no interceptions. But that's just too good, but albeit against the 2 backup corners.
But no, Skip, the point is that when you had an opportunity to put the game out of reach.
Thank you.
Your guy.
Okay, let's go to the only punt of the fourth quarter. You said, he went 3 and out. Okay, first, they get it 1st and 10 at their 14 with 3:01 left in the game. First play, they just hand it off, obviously. I can't remember if it was Chubb or Kareem Hunt, but they just get 1 yard. That was Chubb. So now it's 2nd and 9 at the 15. And could we see the second robbery of the game?
What robbery?
It's the second robbery of the game. Baker goes front side, no. I'm going to go backside, and I'm going to throw my rocket. And Derwin James, you're going to have a hard time seeing this because it's not very clear.
The man failed. Skip, he just failed.
Derwin James got there way early and basically knocked him off his route, just knocked him down. And Baker went crazy after the game and said, I know the fine's already in the mail, but that is pass interference. He just knocked Rashard Higgins down. It's Derwin James. He's a great player, but he tackles better than he covers.
Higgins didn't complain. Look at him. He just got up. He didn't complain, so he just fell on his own.
What hit him? He got blindsided.
Turf monster got it.
And that's a catchable ball, but he wasn't able to catch it because he's getting tackled.
He on the ground.
I'm sorry. It's robbery on top of robbery. You obviously acknowledged the first call was obviously offensive pass interference.
Okay, skip what happens in a game.
Okay, but they're 2 terrible calls that don't go Cleveland's way, and it's because LeBron's up there jinxing them. Every time you can't do it.
First of all, Cleveland Browns had no idea. They didn't even know LeBron was in the stadium. So they ain't got, LeBron's here, man. You know, I got to play good. LeBron's here. He's bad luck. They didn't even know LeBron was there.
I knew he wasn't playing last night because there's no way on a game night, even though a preseason game, he's not going to go to the game at SoFi and then have to go downtown to Staples.
Why not?
So he went and sat on the bench. That's okay. But look, I'm going to give you this. The Chargers looked sensational, but the Cleveland Browns were in control of this game. And I believe if they get the offensive pass interference that should have been called and they get the ball at the Chargers 41 going the other way, I believe they would have won this game. Yep. I think you know it and I know it.
You got, Skip, at some point in time, you got to come to the conclusion. With a running game like that, your guys just average.
Well, they ran it. They're up against maybe the hottest team in football right now, maybe even hotter than the Bills or the Chargers.
Yeah.
Right?
And your team ran the ball for 230. Your team is the #1 running team in football.
And my quarterback threw it for 305. That'll win you a lot of games.
But
there's another one of those 300, 200 games.
And guess what? And when you needed it, you had an opportunity to put the nail in the coffin, deliver the coup de grace. What happened?
So what did they do on 3rd down in that series before they punted? They ran it. Okay.
That tells you everything you need to know. They don't trust your boy. They don't trust your boy. Who would, in a situation like that, you got Baker Mayfield, the #1 overall draft pick in the draft just 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I think Stefanski out-cuted himself and thought he could trick him by running it, tried to hit a quick opener and get the 8 yards they needed.
I think Stefanski was thinking in the back of his mind, Baker's not it.
Is that right?
That's what I think he was thinking.
Boy,
he knows.
It's hard when you're a bust and you throw for 305 against
I did not say he was a bust. That's what I would say. I say he's average. There's a difference between a bust and an average.
Yeah, and you don't have Jarvis Landry, and you're stuck with Odell. And I've told you.
Oh, you stuck with Odell now?
Well, he goes on a run last year for 11 games without Odell after Odell, I'm knocking on wood for Odell, got hurt at Cincinnati. And Baker was the 4th graded quarterback in Pro Football by Pro Football Focus over those 11 games. That looked like...
He'd be lucky to be 14th rated now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, after yesterday, I'd say that was top 10-ish against that team on the road, and you get those bad calls late.
Is he top 10, though? Would you take Baker as a top 10 quarterback right now?
No, I would not.
Okay, then. That's all I needed you to say. See, you heard that, Baker? He was just singing your praise, but say you're not top 10.
Yep. Well, you're saying he's a bust. That's basically.
I didn't say that.
You're saying they should replace him, right?
No. I'm just saying he's not Josh Allen. I'm saying he's the 3rd best quarterback. He and Big Ben are fighting it out for 3rd and 4th because Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow are the 2 best quarterbacks in that division.
Did he not play well enough to win this game yesterday?
No.
Should that not stand up?
That did not.
305 and 230.
So what am I supposed to do about this 398 and 4 touchdowns?
That's who that guy is.
Yeah, that's who he is.
So my Cowboys held Justin Herbert to 3 points in the 4th quarter. The Browns gave up 26 points in the 4th quarter. What does that tell you?
That tells me
you're down to your backup corners.
That he made a couple of. Remember, he threw it because he picked him up in the end zone. They had callback because of penalties.
Yep.
You and I both know you're supposed to left SoFi with your tail between your legs. Because that's what's supposed to happen. You know that. I know that.
He got mic'd. Remember that? He's retreating. He takes an 18-yard sack.
So I'm trying to figure out was he in the grass, and the guy had Dak by the ankle and spun him down, but Dak wasn't in the grass.
I don't know. Dak's ankle held up okay on that. That was that Love kid had him by the ankle. I guess.
Yeah, you saw that. That was in the grass.
As Troy Aikman said on the telecast, he's got so much metal in that ankle, it's like indestructible now, right? Okay, good. I'll take that.
No mercy.
Today, it's an ALDS doubleheader on FS1 as the White Sox look to even their series with the Astros at 3 Eastern, followed by the Rays and Red Sox after yesterday's crazy extra inning finish. That is all right here on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. While the third fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder lived up to the hype in so many ways, both guys went blow for blow in an instant classic that finished with Fury emerging victorious after knocking Wilder to the mat in the 11th round. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how all-time great was this fight?
Skip, I think look, I can only go back to 68 when I started watching boxing. Probably I can go back to, I was born in 68, can probably go back to the late 70s. But Skip, for me, I say it's a top 5 trilogy because the obviously Ali Frazier, when you think of trilogies, it starts and stops with that one. That if you have no other trilogy, Skip, that was it. That's it. The Ali. This one is so good.
You just gave me goosebumps because you can't even think of another.
You're right. Now, Skip, I don't know if you remember this. Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales.
Yep.
2 of the 3 fights were Fight of the Years.
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. I know you remember that one. That was a slugfest. And Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. Wow. But, Skip, this one I can't believe I'm saying this because when you think about it, one guy lost all of them. And you talk about this is a hit because of what it gave us. We talk about a guy that put the guy down twice in the second fight. It comes to a split draw. Many people believe Fury won that one.
The first fight.
The first fight.
Yes.
The second one, he dominated. Fury just dominated with no questions and no ifs. Go to the scorecard. That no card had Wilder even close. The third one, Wilder comes out aggressive, and then all of a sudden Fury takes over, puts him down. And then you're like, oh, here we go again.
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, boom, Fury goes down, gets up, boom, goes down again. I said, oh, well, he got him now.
He got him.
And Fury says,
don't got him.
He ain't got him.
Nope.
Skip, it's something to be said. If you've been down before, no matter what, I'm not just talking about in sports, Skip. I'm talking about in life. If you've been down before, it's easier for you to get up as opposed to never being down and getting knocked down and like, well, damn.
True.
Fury, having been down in the first fight, got up, let him know that being down in the third fight, I can get up again. And Skip, I've never seen anything like Tyson Fury. Skip, I mean, when you look at him, you like, ain't no, again, judging a book by its cover, don't do that.
Nope.
Because you look at this man, ain't no, you like.
Look at that. Look at the left picture. Look at the ripples.
Ain't no way he's supposed to be able to do this, but he's so skilled.
He's a fat man.
And be Skip, they can fight 20 more times, and Deontay Wilder will never beat Tyson Fury.
Agreed.
He has too many tools in his toolbox. Basically, the only thing that Wilder has in his toolbox is a hammer, and he's looking to land it. And
he tried to use a chisel, right?
Skip
tried.
But Skip, he was out of gas.
Yep.
He started breathing out his mouth in the second round.
He did, I agree.
How he managed to last to 11 rounds is just pure heart. Because Fury was able to catch a second win and then do damage from there out. But you know, Wilder started swinging wild, Fury catch him. You're already off balance, Skip. You know, if you're already off balance, somebody shove you, you're going to fall. Skip, this was a great fight because of the action. They gave us, it's very few times, Skip, we get the two best in anything, and then the fight lives up to the expectation. We saw Mayweather and Pacquiao. We believe they were the two best. But the fight didn't live up to what we had hoped it would be. Skip, I think everybody left this fight, whoever watched it, whoever was in the arena, I got my money's worth. I didn't get cheated.
Nope.
It's the top for me. It is, in my lifetime of trilogies, it's a top 5 for me.
Really? Okay, I got to deal with just Saturday night first. Scale of 1 to 10. I can't give this fight as a whole more than a 6 on all-time greatness, because the truth was, as much as I hate to admit it, that the bigger guy dominated the last 7 rounds of this fight, starting with round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then put him down in 11. He just dominated. And to your point, Deontay Wilder came out looking great. His body looked great. He'd put on some muscle weight.
But he didn't need to, Skip.
Okay, well, whatever. He got his mind right.
Yes.
I'm going to change my attack style. I'm going to use some jabs.
Right.
And then I'm going to hit him with all I got. And he'd been weight training and trying to increase what most people agree is the hardest punch in the history of boxing. Unfortunately, it's only with this.
Right.
And he threw it with all his might, as many times as he could throw it, until after the 4th round, he was punched out.
Yep.
And just on sheer will did he keep his feet until round 11.
I don't know how.
Sheer will, heart, guts, courage. And yet, let's go back to what this was. Where the classic happened was the flip of the script, the turnaround from round 3, as you said, right on schedule, he got tagged and he went down, and he just said, no, I'm going out on my shield. I'm going to shake this off, and I'm going to stand back up.
Right.
And he did, because he knew he was up against it in round 3. And then, to his almighty all-time credit, he gathered himself on the stool between round 3 and 4, and he came out and he put that big joker down, not once, he put him down twice. I am up screaming at my TV, finish him! You got him! I picked him on Friday, obviously, and I thought that the big guy was going to be 20 pounds heavier, but he only weighed in, I think it was
277 to, what was it, 273, 277, 279?
Well,
but it wasn't close to 20 pounds.
It wasn't even remotely close, because I thought 20, he's going to be in trouble.
Skip, that's what Sugar Hill, that's what his trainer said. Sugar Hill Stewart said he's going to be 20 pounds heavier.
Were they trying to deke him?
I guess they got it. They deked everybody, because I'm thinking he's going to be close to 300.
Okay, so did I. And yet he can carry his weight just fine, because he doesn't have any stamina problems. Okay, so in the 4th round, he is down and he gets up, and then he goes down again and he gets up, and I'm screaming to finish him, and finally he gets saved by the bell.
Right.
And I shook my head, and I eventually tweeted this. I think that guy on the right is an alien. Like, no human is like this, because you can't cut him.
Right.
You can't really hurt him.
Right.
You cannot knock him out. He is unknockoutable, right? You can't stop him, because he hit him with all of his might.
He hit him flush, too.
Twice. He got him twice as hard as you can throw, to the point.
Every other heavyweight he's knocked out. He ain't getting up.
He's knocked out. Any other human, to me, is knocked out. But that big joker,
he got up.
he just shakes it off. He's like The Undertaker. But we saw the first glimpse in round 12 of the first fight.
Correct.
When he dominated the fight, and it was a controversial split draw, and I still don't quite understand it because I watched that fight, and I thought he won it fairly easily.
Right.
But what was left in the judges' minds at the end, he got knocked down.
Right.
And he resuscitated himself, right?
Right.
He raised himself from the quote-unquote dead. And not only did he raise himself, when he shakes it off, he gets stronger.
Right.
And after he shook off two knockdowns in the fourth round, he only got stronger and stronger. So Wilder is hanging on for dear life starting in round 5. And I'm saying, just try to hit him. And he's throwing powder puff punch. You know, it's like
he's swinging wild. He's getting off balance.
He just and when he did hit him, he's just like just kind of stroking it. You know, like he's got nothing left.
Skip,
man.
you run. You know what it's like when you get tired.
Yes.
And you tell him, if I just keep going. And sometimes you just got to stop and put your hands. You know, when you get tired, you stop, Skip, and you put your hands on your knees or you put your hands on your hip. Well, if you're boxing, you get tired, you can't drop your hands.
No.
Because you leave. And what he was tired, look where his hands were. And Fury's like, oh my, I can't believe this joker standing in front of me with his arm, with his hands that low.
Yeah, I think he felt a little sorry for him and finally just said, I can't do this anymore. And by the way, what did the great Vince Lombardi say? Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Yes.
And it wasn't that it made a coward of him. He just couldn't. He was summoning all the will that was left in his body just to stay upright. And he took some shots now.
There's too much muscle to carry around for an endurance sport like boxing. Skip.
Well, he thought he needed the muscle just to compete with how huge this man is. He's 6'9".
But here's the thing, Skip. The problem is that Tyson Fury is 6'9" and can carry 280, 290 with no problem.
No problem.
You normally fought at 225. You went up to 231, and then you go up another 7 pounds to 238. With that muscle, it takes oxygen to fuel muscle. Well, if you're an endurance sport, Skip, you bouncing around for 3 minutes. You don't need that. You should have stayed where you don't play a man's game. You don't try to beat him at his game. You beat him doing what you do. Okay, if he wants to go to 270, 280, have at it. I'm comfortable at 225. I'm going to stay in my lane. You trying to beat him at his game. And he ran out of gas.
I've never seen anything like this.
How, Skip, I still don't know. He was breathing out his mouth in the second round.
But if you're Deontay Wilder, you think, I hit him as hard as I can twice. And what can I do?
Run. That's what my granny used to say. Somebody bigger than you, hit him as hard as you can. If he don't fall, take off running. Well, he hit a square, so he can't run.
And then I want to not like Tyson Fury, and then afterwards he's just so lovable.
It's that Skip. He said I went over there when he's on the stool,
and I tried to.
And then DeMago said, "You don't respect him? How? He beat you fair and square."
And he said, "God's going to have to heal his heart,
soften his heart,
soften his heart." Yeah. And by the way, he immediately, which is so foreign to what they're doing, he immediately thanks his Lord and Savior, Savior Jesus Christ.
Right.
And I'm thinking of my favorite Bible chapter, which is Isaiah 41, where God says, I will hold you in the palm of my victorious right hand. And it felt like that's what was happening. It's like God is saying, I will lift you up off the canvas.
Skip, I've seen these fights, Joshua, Usyk, Tyson Fury. I've seen all the heavyweights. If Fury prepares, if he's focused, nobody can beat him in that division.
No. And I was afraid he wasn't focused on this because he didn't want to fight the third fight.
Because he know he can skip, he know he can beat him.
Okay, so I give you the trilogy was wildly entertaining, but if you sit back and look hard at those three fights, that guy on the right dominated every one of them. He dominated for long stretches, each one of them.
Really, Skip, we don't normally get a trilogy when we got both. Somebody won the first one and somebody won we need to get finality.
Okay.
When you look at Barrera and Marco Antonio Morales, we need to get finality. Ward got it, we need finality.
I agree.
Okay. We had it.
Okay.
We saw the first two fights. Fury won. And the only reason he got a second fight is because he had the belt and he had a clause in his country. He automatically get a rematch.
Okay, and just for our younger viewers who don't remember, Ali and Frazier went toe-to-toe, trading shot for 3 fights. And in the Thrilla in Manila, they nearly killed each other. They both wound up in the hospital.
Right. Joe Frazier didn't come out the corner, and Ali
was ready to throw in the towel. He wanted to, and Angelo Dundee said, no, you got to get up and go out there. And little did they know he was going to throw in the towel.
Exactly.
That's how close they were.
That was 15 rounds back then.
15 rounds, and every round was special.
Right. But that's the trilogy of trilogies.
That's the trilogy.
So whatever you, I mean, there have been other great fights, trilogies, but that's it. That's the standard.
And none of those three did anybody say Ali dominated or Frazier dominated? Nobody.
No.
Okay.
Wow.
But it was Skip, rarely, especially because everybody's concerned about their one-loss record. Nobody wants to get defeat. So when we get two big guys, two best fighters together, and it gives us what we want to see.
Yep.
That's all we can ask for.
Well, it was worth the price of admission on Saturday night just for round 4.
Yes.
Right?
It was incredible. Felt like everyone was there watching it. I couldn't look away.
I said the same thing. He got it.
We're going to remember where we were watching that fight.
No mercy.
The Cowboys' 44-20 victory over the Giants was spearheaded by a balanced offensive attack. Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdowns, and Zeke had 2 scores himself. Dallas has won 4 in a row since their season-opening loss, and now they've got a 2-game lead in the NFC East. So, Shannon, we remember Skip gave you the feels against the Cowboys in that division. So are you ready to concede?
No, I ain't conceding nothing. No, it's 5 weeks. We got 17 seasons, 17-game season.
2-game lead.
We're not even 30% way through
what
the season.
What does your eye test tell you?
My eyes bad. My eyes bad. First of all, Skip, every Cowboy fan, and even you, know what your team is capable of.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I used to think that. I don't think that about this team.
It's the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys.
Okay, that's all you got. I keep telling you, history is history.
If you forget it, you repeat it. That's why we chronicle it.
Okay, we're forgetting it so we don't repeat it.
You want to forget it because you don't want to repeat it. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Look, it would be a failure if the Cowboys don't win the division. They're in a terrible division.
Okay,
and
that's why I made the bet. Go ahead.
So you knew that.
Well, I mean,
so it wasn't that you had confidence in your Cowboys. It was that you knew they were in a crappy division and they're the best of the crap.
I told you during Hard Knocks preseason, this team is different. This team has a new spirit about it. This team is going to be special. Yeah.
But anyway, look. You guys are in a terrible division, and scheduling is lining up very, very favorable for you. Like I said, I'm sure at some point in time you're going to come in here, you're going to pound the table. I want to readjust my assessment of what I think the Cowboys are going to be. I said 12-5, but I'm thinking about 13-4, maybe even 14-3.
I'm sticking with 12-5 because it's very realistic and highly optimistic in most people's eyes going into the season. Am I right?
Yeah.
But you very realistic.
I give you credit. You stepped out there.
Yeah,
but you know.
Thank you.
You might have had an extra couple of dudes that morning. You was feeling real frisky about yourself. But that's okay. No, I'm not conceding anything. It's only week 5. There's 12 more weeks to go, and anything can happen. So, no, I'm not conceding.
Okay. I'm very proud to say that my Dallas Cowboys are headed to Foxborough to match wits with the genius Bill Belichick.
Give me the points.
And they are favored by 3.5 points. Even back in early August, I would not have thought that.
Give me the points right now.
When I thought it was going to be Cam Newton and I looked at the schedule, I put this down as a big L. When I picked 12-5, one of my L's was at Foxborough.
Yeah.
And now I think I have a very good shot at winning this game.
Give me 3 points.
Give you the 3?
Give me the 3 points right now and I'll take the Patriots.
I got to think about it. Do you realize, I watched a bunch of the Patriots, do you realize they were lucky to escape?
Yes.
They were fortunate to escape the Texans at Houston.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
It went to the wire. It was, pulled it out. They got a call, and it was the right call, but Mac Jones threw what looked like an interception that they dropped, but he got blasted in the face, and that kind of turned the game around on the roughing, right?
Yeah.
So the Texans made it hard on Mac Jones. Well, I think my defense can make it hard on Mac Jones. So the question becomes, can Belichick outwit Kellen Moore? Can he? What do you take? The problem with defending my team is, what do you take away?
Run.
Take the run away.
I'm stopping the run first.
Okay.
You already said it. When they run more than they throw it.
They're 28-0.
Okay, so there you go.
Opening night, 58 passes to 18 runs. 58 to 18. Right. And Dak checked out of 10 that were called, 10 more. So it would have been 28 runs if he hadn't audibled out, obviously. Right. So that was against the Buccaneers, who nobody can run on the Bucs. No. Nobody. They try, and it's almost like laughable to me because you just look at the body language. They're like, "Oh, we tried.
Right?
No, we can't." It's Vita Vea. It's Sue. It's
Golston, JPP
and
was
those two backers just coming flying into the middle.
They're coming downhill.
Okay, so the point is that I'm looking at the division, and I thought Washington would be better than they are.
They've been major disappointed.
Something's
their defense, Skip. Their defense. And maybe they was reading the press clippings about how good that defense is. They were top 5, yada, yada,
you
yada.
Thought the front 7 was up there in the top 5.
And they've been bad all year. Ooh. That front 7 has been terrible.
They gave up a Hail Mary at the end of the half to Jameis, and then they gave up some big plays to Jameis. And I can't figure out the Saints. But I really can't figure out Washington because I thought they would be some threat. I told you the biggest threat, my biggest fear was Philadelphia. So what did Jalen Hurts do when you least expected? He goes to Carolina and outplays Sam Darnold.
And it was Sam Darnold did what he didn't need to do.
Okay.
He tried to play hero ball and turned it over.
Okay. What have I told you since before Sam Darnold's draft? I don't trust him. And the same guy that everybody said, he got a fresh start from the Jets. It was all the Jets' fault. Yesterday, it looked like it was just Sam Darnold's fault.
It was.
3 interceptions.
Yes.
And what does Jalen Hurts do? Well, he's not going to dazzle you with his arm, but he'll make some throws. And then when it's time to make plays with his legs, he scored 2 huge second-half touchdowns.
Guess who the Eagles play on Thursday night?
I got it.
So we'll see.
The GOAT.
We'll see just how good he is.
Okay, we will see how good he is. And I'm sure he will bedevil that defense because everybody's moving the ball on the Bucs defense right now. It has not come to any kind of fruition yet. Like last year, you saw it just take off. The thing is that you play them for it, but can you keep it up? Because the Bucs offense, Skip, they can get to the mid-30s. Can the opposing team, can they get there? Yeah, they get out and they score 10, they score 17, and they're right there with them. And then, but the Bucs have another gear that they can get to that I'm not so sure very many teams, especially that's on their schedule currently, that can get to that gear. We know Buffalo can go get 40, 50-plus points. So I believe we have 10 cases of Diet Mountain Dew bet on this division, and I will allow you out of this bet right here, right now for 5 cases if you would like to concede 5.
Can't do that. I can't do that. It's too early. Too early? Yeah.
And
I got to get at least halfway, at least 8 to 10, 17, 8 to 10 games in before I concede. Okay, I'm going to say this again. I've never felt sure about a Dallas Cowboy team since the dynasty of the 90s. This team is different because this team is trustable. I believe this team will not embarrass me. It will not humiliate me. So you got them going to the Super Bowl? No, I don't have them going to the Super Bowl. Why not? I got them winning the division and maybe winning a home game, a playoff game. Hold on. You just said they get Zeke, or Sleek, Zeke, a freak. Mm-hmm. They got Dak is back. Yep. They got Amari, they got CD, they got a Micah. Gallup's coming back soon. Oh, they got the best corner in football. Got the best corner. And you're not going to pick them to go to the Super Bowl? No, heck no. Not yet. Not yet. This team is unjinxable. This team is completely trustable.
No mercy.
This week, Thursday Night Football is on Fox. Tom Brady and the Bucs are on a roll, but Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and the Eagles might have something special for them in Philly. Thursday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. So Big Ben helped the Steelers bounce back from a 3-game skid by throwing 2 touchdowns and helping Pittsburgh beat Denver 27-19. Teddy Bridgewater was back under center for Shannon's old team, but it just wasn't enough as Roethlisberger outplayed his counterpart. So, Shannon, do you still think Big Ben is done? Yeah, so what am I supposed to trust? What I saw the first 4 weeks or what I saw yesterday? What did you see the first week? 24th in completion percentage, 24th in touchdown passes, 30 in yards per attempt. I'm not making a big deal. Yes, I thought the Broncos' defense was better. Yep. I'm surprised how well the Steelers ran the football. They did a better job of protecting Ben. The Broncos normally get a couple of sacks every game, but for the most part, Ben stayed upright. I've seen a lot more bad of Ben the first 4 weeks
weeks than I saw good. So, and plus 4 interceptions over the last 3 weeks. So for me, I'm not going to, it was a body of work that said that Ben is not the same Ben. So I'm not going to let one game deter me from what I've seen over the previous 5 weeks, the previous 4 weeks, excuse me. So, and just for the record, Ben is 26th in QBR. And you love QBR. That's a good measuring stick to tell you how well a quarterback is playing. Ben Roethlisberger, of the 32 eligible guys, he's 26 out of 32.
So their defense got ravaged by injuries after they went to Buffalo and won on opening Sunday, 23-16. And slowly but surely, their defense is getting healthier. They got T.J. Watt back. They got Devin Bush back. And all of a sudden, under Mike Tomlin, right on schedule, as always, the Steelers are not done. You better not write them off because you better not write this quarterback off. So what did we see yesterday? We started to see the magic formula I thought we'd see from week 1 because it took Najee Harris a little while to figure it out.
Yeah.
Did he not figure it out yesterday?
Yeah, he ran yesterday. He ran tough.
23 for 122, and they had 147 total yards. Can we see what Ben did to Deontay Johnson and then to Chase Claypool, please? Here is 2 big throws of the day. First touchdown to Deontay Johnson. Boy, that looks
That's a rookie.
pretty good. That looks like Big Ben. Then here's Chase Claypool over the middle. That kind of looked like Ben Roethlisberger to me, and that put him up 24-6. So, I'm starting to see that he's looking pretty much like he always did. So I know this. He cannot do at 39 what Tom Brady can do at 44 because did you see what Brady did yesterday? If we could see the 13-yard run yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, this is Tom Brady. He can actually move at 44 in ways Ben cannot even fathom moving.
You call that
Look at
moving?
this. That's moving. That's the fastest I've ever seen Tom Brady run in his life on a football field. I think he is getting better with age.
That's speed walking.
Huh? Speed walking. Look at this.
I've seen great grandmas in the
this.
mall walking faster.
Yeah. So Brady made fun of himself after the game. He said, nobody can turn a 30-yard run into a 10-yard run like I can.
Exactly.
He said all the kids would have run 30 yards with that kind of opening, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but the point is, Ben is completely statuesque. He cannot move a lick.
No.
But he can see it, he can feel it, and he can still throw it.
He and Baker battling out for the third best quarterbacks in that division.
Okay, well, guess what? As I look down the schedule, 3 of the next 4 games are at Pittsburgh, it's Seattle, it's Chicago, it's Detroit. I think they can win those games, and all of a sudden, Shannon Sharpe's going to have a hard time saying, well, I thought they were done, but they're not. I predict you will say that because you will have to acknowledge that you wrote them off too quickly.
If they're not done, that means Cleveland's going to be done because I don't think Baltimore's going anywhere. I think Baltimore is the best team in that division.
By the way, 1 game and 2 games. They got Seattle at home, then they go to Cleveland. That's the hard game of the next 4.
So we'll find out.
Yep,
Who's for real? Is Baker for real or is Ben for real?
Well, Ben's always been for real because Ben is decorated. He is a made man. He's got his 2 Super Bowls, and he's still playing at a very high level. I don't think he takes care of himself remotely the way Brady does, but I still would want him as my quarterback at 39, and I would want Mike Tomlin as my coach anytime.
This is Lamar's division.
Yep.
New sheriff in town.
You think so? Well, we'll see how that goes tonight, right?
Yep.
Yep.
They're going to beat Indy.
Yeah, well, they better because it's Wentz.
Oh, there you go.
Wentz. So another one of your failures. Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz. Who else?
Well, I got a bunch of them. I still got Mahomes. And,
do you?
You still got Aaron Rodgers, right?
Right. Did you see what he did yesterday?
No mercy.
Guys, the Packers beat the Bengals 25-22 in overtime, but it was even more dramatic than that. Green Bay and Cincinnati combined for 5 missed field goals in the final minutes of the 4th quarter and beginning of overtime before Mason Crosby finally nailed the game winner, leaving Aaron Rodgers and Packer Nation relieved, to say the least. So, Shannon, was the end of this game fun to watch or hard to watch?
It was hard to watch. And, Skip, these are pros, and they shouldn't struggle this bad. I mean, this was awful. And Matt LaFleur almost cost his team because the Packers get the interception, Skip, and you know the Bengals are going to be in man coverage trying to prevent you. And you got one-on-one with Devontae Adams, and your kicker is struggling, and you're like, you know what? Nah, we just going to play for the field goal anyway. And it almost bit him in the butt. It goes back to, again, the championship game. That's why Aaron Rodgers won't go one up out of there, Skip. So, but for me, this was very frustrating because professional kickers shouldn't be this bad. I understand that, hey, you miss a kick here and there, but to miss 5 in a span of, 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. That's unacceptable.
What do I always tell you? I hate place kicking. They should do away with place kicking because it's wildly exciting for all the wrong reasons. They go south mentally. The swing of the leg is like the golf swing. You can just lose it, and once you lose it, you can't get it back. Mm-hmm. Mason Crossbar, as I call him, who once upon a time hit 2 intergalactic field goals at Jerry World, 51 and 56, that hooked or sliced and then came back in, I don't know how, to beat my Dallas Cowboys in a playoff game after the 2016 season. He has been very dependable as kickers go, and he completely lost it. But to his credit, he righted the ship in his mind. I don't know how he brought it back, and they trusted him because they were going to go for it.
I tweeted, go for it. Go. Skip, and LaFleur said, he went to Mason and said, what do you think? He says, okay, I'm good. Like, what was he supposed to say? Nah, coach, I ain't got it today. I done missed 4 or 5 of them. Of course he's going to say I got it. I would have went for it.
He did got it because he hit it right down the middle.
Skip, he done put us in a situation. We shouldn't even be here.
I got it. But where would Aaron Rodgers be without Devontae Adams? By far the best receiver in football. He saves him every time. When in doubt, just throw it 17.
Just think about if Tom Brady, at some point in time in the playoffs, had one of those kickers kicking in those pressurized moments.
He might go strangle.
Exactly. Yeah. 3, he missed 3 in the second and fourth quarter in the OT. Oof. That's a shame.
I just
That's
can't
bad
imagine
football.
the mentality of having to do that. Because when it works, it's great. When it doesn't work, and we saw all that yesterday, I agree it wasn't that fun to watch the ending. I love Mondays around here. Skip, Shannon, great stuff today. Undisputed is back same time tomorrow. The Herd is next. Have a good day.
Yeah, we won the championship last year.